What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What We Talking About on Wednesday. 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 I'm ridiculous doing that sometimes, but I don't care because it's what we're talking about on Wednesday, okay? And we are talking about today a couple of things. It's going to be a quick what we're talking about on Wednesday because not much has been going on that I really share my opinion on, to be honest. But I do want to talk about the Bachelor episode 6. I got my trusty notes here, and honestly, I'm going to get right into it. So the episode started with the continuation of episode 5, which was Matt brought Jasenia and MJ to the side to discuss the drama and the bullying mentality that had been disclosed to him by Miss Katie, who decided to whisper in Matt's ear. Ultimately, and I'm about to spoil, so if you haven't seen the episode by now, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Just saying. During the conversation, Matt, kind of went back and forth with Jasenia, ultimately decided that MJ was not to continue, and she was escorted home. Bye-bye, girl. That's too bad, because I kind of liked MJ, but I did feel like once Crazy, the queen, had left Victoria, that she became, the next bully to step forward in the line, like a new Regina George had just sprung like a weed. And honestly, I was just like, I feel like she was doing too much. I feel like she was trying too hard. She might be really hood for all I know because of the way she was acting, but I just felt like it was a little too intense all of a sudden. Or maybe the editors just didn't pay attention to her up until that point. I don't know. All I know is that girl got booted. Then, after the evening, Matt had decided he did not want to have a cocktail evening and just socialize with the ladies. So he ultimately decided he was just going to go straight to the rose ceremony. And he, I think that really upset a lot of the girls because, again, another night had been wasted where there was no real discussion had. They weren't getting one final opportunity to connect with him. And I think that was unfair for the girls. I think the constant drama and going to go tell Matt James like he's some sort of principal and having him deal with it and wag his finger at women, again, is really a colossal waste of time. And it's honestly taking away from them as a whole. So I kind of am going to segue from that going into the discussion that Serena C and Katie have before the rose ceremony and just after they find out there was going to be no cocktail hour. And it's basically Serena C kind of comes to her and she addresses her amongst the other women and says, I really feel like you have been the catalyst to a lot of these moments of Matt taking away from us all and kind of having him deal with these issues. She said she's starting little fires everywhere. And Katie was kind of taken aback at first and kind of was just like, that's your opinion, blah, blah, blah. She was kind of very defensive. And then that kind of segued into the rose ceremony. Both ladies got a rose and moved forward with the rest of the episode. The following day, when they get back to the chalet, there is an explosive argument between the two of them, between Katie and Serena, and they become ultimate rivals. And I mean, I feel like this is necessary for this show, and I'm starting to feel like, as much as I love reality TV, and I feel like it can be fairly expected and fairly typical, this is almost too typical, too expected, too predictable. And I'm sticking it out because I want to see the end result, but this is why I don't watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, because it just feels a little too worked out for me. So anyway, they had their explosion and now the girls are pitted against each other. Then it comes time for the date selections. Serena C and Katie are both hoping and vying for one-on-one dates with Matt. And ultimately, Katie gets the date and she goes on a one-on-one with him. Serena kind of feels bummed about it. Katie feels like this is a great opportunity for her to connect with Matt. Girl, when they go on this one-on-one date, I don't know about you, but I felt friend vibes. It almost seemed like because she had went to him like a big brother to say, these girls are being bullies and you have to deal with it for me, that there was like this loss of, there was no fire, no spark, no nothing. They were pranking his friend who had showed up for him to, confide in. And it just really felt like they were two buddies having a fun time. And at the end of that date, one-on-one with Matt James and Miss Katie, he decided homegirl wasn't going to get the rose and got the boot as well. Now, I don't know if that's poetic justice or not. I don't know if she deserved it. I feel like it was kind of funny, so I laughed. I laughed fairly hard because I just was like, wow, isn't that ironic that you were trying to get rid of the people who you thought were toxic in the house. You were so worried about what was going on. And I understand why she did it, but at the same time, she put a lot of energy in it. And it ultimately ended up being useless because her and Matt had zero connection anyway. So all that time that she was vying for and she was worried about wasting, she wasn't going to get with Matt to begin with. So there's that. And then the other excitement of the episode. Now, again, like I said, I have not watched the past Bachelor, so I do not know this chica, Heather Martin. But Homegirl rolled up in a minivan and said, call Chris, I'm want in on the show. I thought that was really unfair that they even entertained her, but I guess they need ratings in a pandemic, so whatever. But the fact that the girls have gone through one set of new girls already coming in and girls being, removed from the chalet because Matt is not connecting with them. It's like I feel like they're not really giving him an opportunity to get to know the set of girls he was originally introduced to because they keep throwing monkey wrenches in the form of a white minivan and blonde hair in the game. And it's just like, why does she get a chance? Because she says that someone said that they should definitely meet. And the fact that they let her come in at the second set rose ceremony, you already know how these girls are with the first set of girls. Did you think that they were just gonna be like, oh, hey, girl, even though she's already been on a Bachelor? I feel like this was stroking the fire some more and saying, you guys were considered bullies. Let's see what you do with a girl who's already had a chance with another guy, and she's coming in on your season now. So the episode ended with explosion. Homegirl Piper was having a deep conversation with him when Heather decided she wanted to say, hey, guess who's here? And Matt, I think his response and his reaction was one of genuine shock, but I felt like it was really inappropriate for the fact that he was in the middle of a conversation. He could have been like, hey, let me finish talking to her and we could talk in a second. But the interruption and the intrusion of a girl, a girl who'd already been there, he and her just made a connection on their one-on-one date. I felt like it was really inappropriate. I feel like, I don't know if maybe this is how the show is always, but I feel like this season seems really, really messy. And it's just, I feel like it's not going to end in a true connection because Matt's not getting the opportunity to really connect with anybody. He keeps getting interrupted or sending girls home and having to be played Daddy Dearest and the principal. Anyway, that's my quick rundown of episode 6. Let's see what happens in episode 7. I am very interested. The next thing I want to talk about is in relation to dating and relationships, and it is one of Mr. Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. Now, I had mentioned this previously in my last episode that, well, not my last, but I think the previous one, that I wasn't sure about the authenticity of this relationship. In my opinion, this is mispolished opinions after all, so I'm sharing my opinion. I feel like this is a very opportunistic, very specifically timed relationship. Michael B. Jordan has never really exposed his relationships in the past on his IG, on social media. He's dated women, yes, but it's never been like, here's my girlfriend, here we are going here we are going here, public displays of affection. And she is always doing that and like dates celebrity guys exclusively. And it's very open with these relationships and they're never really long-term. Now, Lori Harvey is a beautiful girl, and I mean no disrespect to her, but I just feel like these relationships come at opportunity-specific times for these people. She's launching a clothing line, and he, all of a sudden, boop, drops this new movie coming out on Amazon at the end of April, and then it's like another picture with him and her, and these moments that they're sharing on social media don't feel authentic to me anymore. They feel staged. They feel like he's doing what he does, acting. And if somebody asked me to pretend to be Michael B. Jordan's girlfriend for a couple $1,000s for 2-3 weeks or 2-3 months, and I got to, hug up on him, kiss up on him, smell up on him, and get paid, I'm not saying it's a bad idea because it's Michael B. Jordan. And that's just what I'm saying. I don't buy it right now, unfortunately. I'd love to be proven wrong, and I will be the first to say that I'm wrong if it gets proven so. But I feel like his new show comes out in April. I bet you by May, June, this relationship is gone. And she's on to the next, and he goes back into dating the women he usually dates. That's just my opinion. Don't come for me. It is what it is. It's what I see. It's what I'm observing. It's how I am reading their relationship. The next thing I want to talk about is Britney Spears and her relationship with her family and how they're treating her. This whole conservatorship. That's a hard word for me. Excuse me. And the level of control that she's been experiencing. Now, I have yet to find the documentary. I want to watch it because I want to kind of see what's really going on. But it sounds like, and from what I've heard previously, it sounds like the girl is under some weird lock and key and is like mentally lost and emotionally struggling. And I can only pray for her and hope that she and her family and friends find and give her or have her, seek the proper help she needs, because nothing about her life seems healthy or normal. Like, I know she was a child star, but none of the other child stars have ended up as rocked and as messed up as she has. So prayers go out to Britney Spears on that one. The next thing I want to talk about is, if you've been on TikTok and Instagram in the past week, you have had to have heard of the Gorilla Glue hair girl. I first saw her on TikTok before she went like super duper viral, and I thought to myself, no, she didn't. I mean, I know you want to slick down those edges, baby, but really glue? I mean, I've always been afraid to even put the Got to Be spray on my hair because that sucker seems sticky. But Gorilla Glue? My heart went out to her when I first saw the video on TikTok. So some developments, people have been reaching out to her to try to help her. Her friend most recently cut the ponytail off, so that part is gone. The outside of her hair looks honestly rock hard, and then the inside, you see the picture of where her hair had been cut. It looks like there's some salvageable hair there. She's apparently gone to LA to undergo some sort of surgery. She's meeting with surgeons to try to get this rectified. I don't know what I would do if I was in her position. I probably would have balled off my head and just went, get me some wigs and call it a day and start over. But I also would have been heartbroken to have to do that. So if they can help her, and if there's more to the story than just the hair, maybe it's like really adhered to her skin. If there's more to the story, I'm sure we'll hear about it, and prayers go out to her too, because a woman's hair for a lot of us, especially a women of color, it means a lot. So I hope she's okay, and I hope that they can help her salvage some of her hair, because that's a hard thing to deal with. The last thing I want to talk about, well, the second last thing I want to talk about is Kim and Kanye. Now, we've heard about them quite a bit, and we know that they're in the midst of their divorce. I also feel like this is opportunistic as well. Like, I feel like we knew they were getting divorced from last year, like early last year, and all of a sudden now it's like ramping up. I feel like maybe she's going to come out with some new jewelry line or weave line or something, and he's going to drop an album, and then they're going to say they're trying to work it out for the kids. But this is all my opinion, so, whatever. And the final thing I want to talk about is something I'm super excited about. If you grew up in I'm in my 30s, so if you grew up in the 90s and you are a fan of, movies that are feel good, a little funny, a little sassy, a little crazy, and you've watched The Best Man or The Best Man Holiday, then you know of this cast and this awesome cast and why it is so awesome. I guess I should say here, not here. Yeah, here. Why it's exciting to hear that they are coming out with a series, a 10-episode limited series to basically wrap the story up. And I, for one, I literally just watched The Best Man this Christmas, The Best Man Holiday this Christmas, because I watch it every holiday. And I was saying to Ori, I hope that they do one more just to finish things off, because there are still some storylines that could, you could tie up some ends. So to hear that, it's super exciting. This is one of my favorite black casted all class movies that I grew up on, and I really, really am excited to hear about that. So hopefully that is done well, and it's done soon, because I mean, we're in a lockdown for forever at this point, so I'm down to watch anything. Anyway, this has been a quick episode of what we're talking about on Wednesday. I will see you in the next video.